Democrats now want him back on the Hill to answer questions about basically Papadopoulos and now Carter Page. There are more questions. I mean, do you think Sessions has got trouble on his hands?
You know, I think Sessions should probably go back up to the Hill and say, fine, I'll have any conversation that you want to have, put me under oath. I mean, to Chris's point, I mean, again, some of us have trouble remembering what we did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago. I've been in D.C. almost 20 years. You go to these dinners, somebody walks past, shakes your hands, hey, I'm doing this. You don't quite remember. So one of these things with Sessions, so much is going on. Does he remember everything that took place a year and a half ago? I don't think any of us at this table could remember what we did exactly every day a year ago. So, you know, it's a little problematic with Sessions. I think that there are some people that are a little disgruntled with Jeff Sessions on a variety of other fronts, including the president at times. So I don't think that you're going to see a lot of us. I don't think you're going to see a lot of us defending Sessions. I've even called for him. It's probably good for him to resign, move on.
Do you still think so?
I still think so. I do. I don't think Jeff Sessions has been new. I think he made a big mistake by recusing himself from this investigation.
but that's the thing that everyone compliments him for.
No,
that's what everyone commends him for.
No, let's put it this way.
That was the right decision.
I'm not a huge fan of Eric Holder's, but I respect the fact that Eric Holder would go to the mats every time for his president, and you do not see that with Jeff Sessions, and I think that's very problematic.
Keith, what do you think? Do you hand it to him that it's hard to remember? I don't know why you guys have such a hard time remembering what you had for lunch. Let's be honest. Maybe I just think too much about food.
Hey, what up, Andy?
That this is a meeting that could have been forgotten.
Let me turn this down.
These meetings could have been forgotten.
I remember a quote from Donald Trump last year. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 33,000 emails that are missing. I remember Russia being a topic of conversation for a good part of the campaign last year. The idea that Jeff Sessions...
How you doing today, Andy?
...conveniently don't remember this doesn't seem plausible. And Jeff Sessions, you know, Ned's saying that he won't go to the mat for Donald Trump. The reality is Barack Obama never had a situation where his people around him were being indicted, so he had never had a reason for Eric Holder to go to the mat for him like that. But Jeff Sessions is in trouble because Jeff Sessions right now is in danger of not telling the truth, not only to the Congressional Committee, but possibly to the American people. And he's going to be called to testify to the FBI to find out what he really knows.
Well, we will see. But, I mean, again, Jeff Sessions, you might like it or not, he's recused himself from all things Russia-related. I wonder what more Democrats want.
What more do they want from Jeff Sessions?
Yeah.
Well,
he's out of this. He's out of this Russia stuff.
Well, Donald Trump said today that he's not happy with what the Justice Department is doing. So, I mean, you have...
Let me actually get to that, because I actually think this is important. And Michael, this comes to you. So, drop some knowledge on this, please. Amid all of this, the president says today he's disappointed in the Justice Department and the FBI. Disappointed that he can't essentially make them investigate Hillary Clinton and that's basically it. He also slammed the Justice Department just yesterday and how it's handled terror cases, again saying we need them to be quicker, stronger, fairer. How is that received over at Justice, do you think?
Let's take each of them separately. With respect to the president's desire to intervene in...
Yeah, let's get in a party.
...touch him...
Send me a party request, Andy. Send me a party request. I'll get in a party with you right now.
I want new policies with respect to the enforcement of our immigration laws, the enforcement or lack of enforcement of...
I don't know if you already sent me one, but if you did, send it to me again.
...proceed with terrorism cases. That's all fine. That's policy. He can say that. He's the chief executive officer. But he can't intervene case by case. And he keeps wanting to. And he's frustrated by the fact that he can't do that. But that's the constitutional system that we live in, that you don't serve as your own judge and jury and determiner of facts.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, just to Michael's point, I do think what you have to remember is Donald Trump...
Here, what I'll do, Andy, is I'll start a party right now and you just join.
...different than anyone else who's ever held this office before. Not served in the military, not ever held elected office. What is that experience? It's as a CEO, whether that's of his company or of his reality TV empire, for lack of a better word. But the point is, in that world, everybody does work for you. And if you want something done, you tell them and they do it. I mean, he has struggled, I think, to adjust in many ways from being a businessman, private citizen candidate into being a president. And I think one of the ways that it's important to remember is he has no background in, he just assumes everyone works for him because that's all he's ever known.
I'm in a party right now, Andy. You can come in the party right now. Hey, Andy, are you going to join this party? If you're not going to join the party, Andy, I'm going to turn my headset off. Hey, Andy, you should be able to join the party, man. You should be able to join the party. Is the light on? Lights on. All right, I'm out, man. I'm going to exit the party.
This happened, and what does this mean in a very serious sense about the security of the president's Twitter account? Be right back.
You wouldn't do only half of your daily routine.
Oh,
so
man.
why treat your mouth any differently? Complete the job with Listerine. Help prevent plaque, early gum disease, bad breath, and kill up to 99.9% of germs. Listerine. Bring out the bold.
Sailing through the heart of cities and landscapes with Viking, you'll see things differently. You'll get closer to iconic landmarks, to local life, and cultural treasures. It's an experience only a river cruise with Viking can give you. Spend less time getting there and more time being there. Call Viking or your travel agent for special offers now, and learn more at vikingcruises.com.
I love to eat. I love hanging out with my friends. I have a great fit with my dentures. I love kiwis. I've always had that issue with the seeds getting under my denture. Super Polygrip Free, it creates a seal of the dentures in my mouth.
Even well-fitting dentures let in food particles. Just a few dabs of Super Polygrip Free is clinically proven to seal out more food particles, so you're more comfortable and confident while you eat.
Super Polygrip Free made eating the kiwi an enjoyable experience.
Try Super Polygrip Free.
Leadership is part intuition and part insight. With the right HR technology, you get total workforce visibility. Whether you're on the other side of the wall or the other side of the world, true visibility into your people makes recruiting smarter, retention more strategic, and ensures that top performers are rewarded. Because no matter what business you're in the people business. Ultimate Software. People first.
brought us to the brink of nuclear war, accused of obstructing justice at the FBI and of violating the Constitution by taking money from foreign governments and threatening to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become? I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less. Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons. And they do nothing. Join us and tell your member of Congress that they have a moral responsibility to stop doing what's political and start doing what's right. Our country depends on it.
Okay, folks, let's get the lady of the house back on her feet and help her feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks.
The complete balanced nutrition of Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. Ensure, always be you.
Tempur-Pedic's superior pressure relief and comfort and our 90-day complete satisfaction trial will make tossing and turning a thing of the past. Plus, during our Veterans Day savings event, save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets. Find your exclusive retailer at Tempur-Pedic.com.
It all started with a cardboard box. It's what my colleague put his computer on when sitting all day at the office became too painful. So, we designed the first Veridesk. Lift it to stand when you want to, lower it to sit when you need to.
I have more energy and I get more done.
Our boss got the company to buy them for us, and I love it.
If you sit every day for work, the Veridesk is a must.
It's sturdy and comes fully assembled. And if you don't love it within 30 days, we'll pick it up. Go to Veridesk.com to order yours.
Closed captioning brought to you by Cold-EEZE. Shorten your cold with Cold-EEZE.
Cold-EEZE can shorten your cold by 42%. Might not make your party 42% better. Shorten your cold with Cold-EEZE, guaranteed.
Every time we're attacked from this point forward, and it took place yesterday, we are hitting them 10 times harder. So when we have an animal do an attack like he did the other day on the west side of Manhattan, we are hitting them 10 times harder.
President Trump, just this morning, U.S. is hitting ISIS 10 times harder after the New York attack that killed 8 people. He tweeted much the same also this morning. The military has hit ISIS much harder over the last 2 days. They will pay a big price for every attack on the U.S. That all came as news to a lot of folks. Is this a new strategy? What has changed? Well, let's see where the data lands us. Joining me now, CNN senior national correspondent Alex Marquardt has much more on this. Alex, we just heard from the president, but what are we also hearing from the Pentagon?
Well, Kate, as you might imagine, the U.S. keeps very careful track of the number of airstrikes that they carry out against ISIS. And in fact, the U.S. military has been fact-checking the president in real time today, and there's nothing to indicate that there's been any sort of uptick in the airstrikes carried out against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. The numbers they put out today on November 1st, so the day after the attack here in New York, there were 11 airstrikes. On November 2nd, there were 13 airstrikes. And that's exactly the same number as the number of airstrikes carrying out the day of the attack, October 31st, Halloween. So no indication that the number of strikes are going up, let alone that they're going up 10 times. Now, we should note that with ISIS losing so much ground in Iraq and Syria, there are far fewer targets for that U.S.-led coalition to hit. But the much bigger point is that this was, as far as we know, an ISIS-inspired attack. There was no evidence, no indication that there was any sort of relationship or direction coming from ISIS in Iraq and Syria to the attacker here in New York. So for an ISIS-inspired attack, there really is no military solution. Kate?
Yeah, and again, getting into a place of the president's statement, where the facts are, and now more questions about the president's statement. Thanks for laying it out, Alex. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Coming up for us, President Trump's Twitter account goes down, goes dark, sparking 11 minutes of wild intrigue, but it's also now raising some very serious security concerns. That's next.
Make an entrance with Joseph A. Bank's buy one get one free sale on almost everything in store. Plus, all Traveler and 1905 suits $249, and all dress shirts, including the best-selling Traveler shirt, $2 for $80. Buy one get one free sale only at Joseph A. Bank.
Occasional constipation can be a pretty tough customer. Colex is the #1 doctor recommended stool softener brand.
It's been gently softening up hard cases for over 60 years. Coolies, feel the difference only softness can make.
Publishers Clearinghouse is ready to award the new Turn Back Time Prize. 10 years of Back Payments right away. That's $2.6 million. Then $5,000 a week for life. Don't miss your last chance to win. Enter at PCH.com now on December 22nd. It could be you.
There's nothing more important than your health. So if you're on Medicare, or will be soon, you may want more than parts A and B. Here's why. Medicare only covers about 80% of your Part B medical expenses. The rest is up to you. You might want to consider an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Like any Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, these help pick up some...
Hey, what's going on, Ralph? How you doing?
And these plans let you choose any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients. You could stay with a doctor or specialist you trust, or go with someone new. You're not stuck in a network, because there aren't any. So don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide, and find the AARP Medicare Supplement Plan that works for you. There's a range to choose from, depending on your needs and your budget. Rates are competitive. And
Oh, my girl drove me crazy yesterday, man. She drove me crazy. She really bummed me out. She really bummed me out.
There's no enrollment window, no waiting to apply. So call now. Remember, Medicare supplement plans help cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay. You'll be able to choose any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients. Whether you're on Medicare now or turning 65 soon, it's a good time to get your ducks in a row. Call to request your free decision guide.
Today's one of those days where I need somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of my friends. You know?
Actually, I almost never get caught.
Good Behavior. All new Sundays at 10 on TNT.
This is not just any cruise. This is MSC Cruises, one of the largest cruise lines in the world, where every detail is beyond just ordinary. You won't walk on just any stairs. These steps are covered in Swarovski crystals. There's not just one performance to see. There's a different show every night. On an MSC cruise, you won't be served just any meal. You'll enjoy freshly prepared...
You know, a lot of times when I say on my stream, I say, hey, don't allow anybody else's unhappiness make you unhappy. Yesterday, my girl, she drove me crazy yesterday, bro. Straight up. Drove me crazy.
Plus, get a free shipboard credit, a free drink package, and free Wi-Fi. An incredible value, because this is not...
I mean, she was really nasty yesterday.
MSC Cruise.
Really nasty.
MSCCruises.com.
This is CNN, most trusted name in news.
It is the president's preferred means of communication. His soapbox, his mouthpiece, his bully pulpit all rolled into one, and for a few minutes, he did not have access to it at all. If you are one of President Trump's 41.8 million Twitter followers, this is what you saw last night when you went to his page. Was it hacked? Did someone take over the account? Did his staff simply take away his phone? None of the above, according to Twitter. Officials there say the brief interruption was actually the work of an employee on his last day. Going out with a bang, apparently. Joining me now to discuss and lay this out and what this actually means, CNN senior technology correspondent Lori Siegel. She's here with me now. How could this happen?
You know, I'm told by employees at Twitter that after the election, they tightened the circle around who had access to Trump's account, right? So they said only a certain number of people. So it could have happened one of two ways. One of those senior people is leaving, decided to, you know, make a splash, or someone low level was able to get unauthorized access. Neither of those looks good for Twitter. Jack Dorsey, the CEO, sent out emails last night. We obtained those emails. He said, we're taking steps to try to figure out how this happened. He sent out another email a couple hours later that said said, we have some work to do. I think that's an understatement. I think this is an incredibly big deal that a rogue employee was able to basically take off a world leader from their platform for 11 minutes.
And it raises a whole bunch more questions that I think are very serious. I mean, what does this mean for the security of the president's account? I mean, could some rogue employee on their last day not just take the account down, but post something in the president's name?
I've
Hey,
been asking that question
Ralph.
to folks inside the company. What
The
they
new
said
game is called
very
Fishing
you can
Planet.
have high-level access
I got it
to
downloading
but
right
you
now,
have to take it
Fishing
down.
Planet. I'm
But
going to
it's
check
very
it out.
difficult. You can't tweet from an account. That being said, another one of our writers talked to a source who said it might be highly unlikely. What I will mention...
Highly unlikely doesn't mean impossible,
That doesn't mean impossible. Right? And what I will mention is that there's been internal debate at Twitter for a very long time over the president's Twitter account. I spoke to one employee who said after he tweeted about North Korea, a lot of folks were saying he's trying to incite violence. Take it offline. Another employee said, no, we think this is worth having on there. So these internal debates happening are shaping, are shaping the country and shaping what happens to users, not even the president, as we see in the news.
I just think it's fascinating that there isn't a definitive answer, which it should be coming from Twitter, which is no. No one should be able to act, but I guess that's the blessing and very much the curse of using these social media platforms.
Well, I think the biggest question now, as you have these tech companies on Capitol Hill, is transparency. How are these decisions being made?
Well, that's
Who's
true.
making them? You have one employee saying one thing, another saying another thing, and then you have an employee who takes down this account. I think transparency is what we all want from this company, and they're trying to convince leaders that they have control of their platform on this week, and you had an incident that showed that they very much don't in a pretty big way.
And a lot of lawmakers leaving those hearings this week were not happy with what they heard. Were not satisfied with what they heard in terms of control, transparency, and responsibility, and this definitely doesn't. Great to see you, Lori.
Good to see you.
We'll see what happens next. President Trump applauding the new Republican tax plan, but some lawmakers in his own party are already a no on the bill. So could this tax bill be headed the way of the health bill? But first, CNN is proud to announce the top 10 CNN heroes of 2017, and you get to decide who will be this year's winner. Anderson Cooper shows you how.
Now that we've announced the top 10 CNN heroes of 2017, it's time to show you how you can help decide who should be CNN Hero of the Year and receive $100,000 to help them continue their work. Just go to CNNheroes.com where you can learn more about each hero, and when you're ready, just click on Vote. Log in using either your email address or Facebook account and choose your favorite. Then confirm your selection and you're all set. And this year, you can also vote through Facebook Messenger. You can vote up to 10 times a day per method every day through December 12th. Then rally your friends by sharing your vote on social media. My friend and co-host Kelly Ripa joins me to reveal the 2017 Hero of the Year live during our 11th annual CNN Heroes and All-Star Tribute, Sunday, December 17th.
All right, help decide and learn much more about him. Who should be CNN's Hero of the Year? Go to CNNheroes.com.
CNN Heroes is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. And by Consumer Cellular, where low rates and award-winning service are just the beginning.
All right, off you go.
Casual Fridays at Buckingham Palace? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Nathan saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Ah, the age of mastery. A realm of skill and wisdom that only the experienced may enter. Life has taught you well, and now nothing surprises you. But service with Consumer Cellular just might. Our average customers get all the talk, text, and data they need for less than $25 a month. That's probably a fraction of what you're paying now. Consumer Cellular has been ranked #1 in customer service by J.D. Power 3 times in a row. AARP members get exclusive discounts. And switching is easy. Just go online, visit any Target store, or call us on the phone. Because you still know how to do that. There are no contracts and a risk-free guarantee, so you can cancel at any time. But you won't, because even though you've made some mistakes in your day,
debt? Will they stay true to their words? Or did they promise you one thing only to do another? Right now, Congress is talking about tax cuts that will add trillions to our national debt and hurt our economy. It's time to tell Congress, don't borrow more money from China and leave more debt to our kids. Keep your word. Tax cuts shouldn't add to the national debt.
You know what I'm thinking? Why not use it? I mean, we're talking about $6 trillion here. That's a whole lot of cash out there people are just sitting on. Many older Americans are in a tough spot right now. They just don't have enough savings to get by. It's their biggest concern. They could be our family, our friends. And then there's that $6 trillion. That's the amount retired homeowners have already paid into their homes. It comes down to an average of more than $200,000 per senior household. So, why not use a reverse mortgage loan?
Not really. Not really.
Find out more.
I don't like the 4v4.
DVD presented by Tom Selleck. The kit will help you understand more about a reverse mortgage, decide if it's right for you, and the simple ways you need to qualify. Call 1-800-265-5152.
The reverse mortgage loan from AAG uses your built-up home equity to give you cash now and when you need it in the future. Pay it back when it works for you or in one lump sum when you leave the home.
Call now for a free, no-obligation information kit to find out how a reverse mortgage loan can pay for living expenses, medical bills, even credit card bills. Call 1-800-265-5152.
I know what you're thinking. Why me? And why AAG? Well, I've done my homework, and I know how dedicated AAG is to helping retirees in a caring, ethical way. I trust them. I think you can too.
If you're 62 or older and own your home, the info kit will show you how to access your home's equity to give you cash when you need it. It'll eliminate those monthly mortgage payments and give you the extra money to renovate the home or pay off bills. Call 1-800-265-5152.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
No more speculation, no more rumors, no more guessing games right now. Republicans have finally released the much-discussed and highly anticipated massive overhaul to the nation's tax system. So, who are the winners? Who are the losers so far? And how much of this is likely to change? And where are the battle lines? President Trump wants a bill by the year's end that gives lawmakers 8 weeks and 2 days to get this over the finish line. CNN's Phil Mattingly is on Capitol Hill and has all of the answers for you. So, Phil, what are you hearing there right now?
Every single answer. Look, I primarily want to focus on Title I, Subtitle D, Section 13. I know you have memorized all 429 pages of this bill, so we're just going to dive right into the weeds. No, look, you joke, but that's actually really important facts here. These are the really important details that are going to matter. This is a broad overhaul of the tax system. And the reason this hasn't been done in 31 years is because it's extremely difficult and because it requires major trade-offs. Those major trade-offs, the elimination of the types of deductions people really like. And talk about that section that I was just talking about. That's limiting the mortgage interest rate deduction for new home buyers from $1 million to $500,000. That's something that's very popular with people. You also have other deductions that are extremely important to certain Republican lawmakers, specifically those in the Northeast. State and local tax deduction. The majority of that would be repealed. On property, it would be limited to $10,000 as a cutoff. You already have lawmakers from those states saying that's not enough. I come from a high-tax state. You can't punish my constituents. So the question right now is, can Republican leaders convince their lawmakers or make enough changes to convince their conference, at least 218 of them, that the overall economic picture, what this bill will actually do, is more important than those individual provisions? Those individual provisions, home builders are going to be fighting for tooth and nail. Realtors are going to be fighting for tooth and nail. Mortgage bankers are going to be fighting for tooth and nail. That's what they have to figure out. I think it's important to note, on the top line of the bill, there's no question about it. This is a major cut on the corporate side of things, dropping things from 35 to 20%. On the small business side of things, having the pass-through rate go from 39.6 to 25%. There is a reason they're doing that. There's a reason that $1 trillion of the tax cuts here are towards corporations. And how Republicans sell that is probably going to decide whether or not this actually moves through on the individual side of things, Kate.
let me just jump in 1 second. We were going to get back to taxes in a second. I have some breaking news I got to jump to, Phil. Thank you so much.
This is CNN Breaking News.
This is just coming into CNN right now. A judge has reached a decision in the sentencing phase of the case against Bo Bergdahl. Bergdahl, of course, is the Army sergeant who pleaded guilty last month to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Bergdahl deserted his post in Afghanistan in 2009. He was captured by the Taliban. A short time later, he was held for 5 years in a controversial swap with Guantanamo Bay detainees. 5 years later, he was brought back to the United States. Prosecutors had asked the judge to give Bergdahl 14 years in prison. Let's get over to Fort Bragg. Right now. Nick Valencia has been there. That is where all of this has been playing out. Nick, what has happened?
Hey there, Kate. No jail time for U.S. Army Bo Bergdahl. He has been just given a sentence, reduced his rank to E1. The judge also ruled that he has to give $1,000 of his salary for the next 10 months as part of the fine. He's also been given a dishonorable discharge. The prosecution was recommending up to 14 years in prison for Bergdahl. The defense, desperate to try to keep Bergdahl out of another day of confinement, suggested this dishonorable discharge. This week in testimony started with a surprise plea from Bergdahl himself, asking for forgiveness, apologizing to those servicemen who were injured while on those hasty search and rescue operations, trying to recover him in Afghanistan. A lot of this testimony this week also focused on his mental health. Medical health experts testifying that he suffers from a schizophrenic-like illness that distorts his ability to see the various consequences of his actions. Bo Bergdahl did admit that deserting his post on June 30th, 2009 was a mistake. The defense argued all along that this was not only a mistake, it was also a crime that he should be punished for. Again, the judge ruling that Bergdahl be reduced to the rank of E1, down from his rank of sergeant. He's been given a dishonorable discharge and will have to pay, over the course of 10 months, about $10,000 in fines. Kate?
Nick, did the judge give any indication what went all into this decision? Because there's such a discrepancy here between what obviously the prosecutors wanted, and this has been so this has all been watched so closely over every, from when he pleaded guilty to where they are right now. Did he give some indication of what got him to no jail time?
There was no explanation from the judge. It was a very short announcement, just a straight business, really. Katie entered the courtroom and took just a couple of minutes to read his sentence. He resumed his deliberations at about 9 a.m. this morning, so it took about 2 hours or so before he got back to the courtroom to deliver his sentence. It was at midday yesterday that he began his deliberations, but we don't know exactly when this all takes effect either. We are under the assumption this all takes effect immediately, but really no details given as to the reasoning that the judge reached this verdict. Kate?
And any reaction what was Bergdahl's reaction? I assume he was in there, yes?
Well, the reporters that were in the gallery reported that Bergdahl was visibly shaken on the way into court. As that announcement was read from the judge, he was flanked by 2 of his defense attorneys. They had their hand on his back, according to reporters in the courtroom. They smiled at each other as that announcement was read. As I mentioned, they were desperate to keep him out of another day of confinement after he essentially lived in a cage 4 of his 5 years in captivity. Bergdahl didn't really show any other emotion. He was, however, shaken going into the courtroom and physically shaken leaving it as well. Kate?
All right, Nick, stand by with us. We're going to have much more on this breaking news ahead. Bo Bergdahl, finally, sentencing coming in from Fort Bragg, from the trial, from all of the hearings, and this has been in the sentencing phase for the Army sergeant. No jail time, a dishonorable discharge for Bo Bergdahl. We're going to have much more of this breaking news right after the break.
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. You type in the name of your prescription, you find a coupon, and save. GoodRx works at virtually every pharmacy in America. This year, we'll save Americans over $1 billion on their prescriptions. There's no membership required with GoodRx. It's totally free, and we don't need any personal information. Go to GoodRx.com to see if you can save on your prescriptions.
Have you ever seen something so beautiful that all you could say was, wow? Or walked on the world's best beach at a place that made you feel like you were in a dream, where family comes first and fun is measured one ride at a time, where you're served like royalty, but
treated like family. Beaches, Turks, and Caicos, where anything is possible because everything is included. Wow. Get up to 65% off. Call 1-800-BEACHES.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. The open enrollment period for Medicare Advantage is only for a limited time and ends December 7th. Now is the time to understand your options. Want to see if there are $0 premiums in your area? Go to MedicareAdvantage.com or call us today.
Call 800-651-2903. That's 800-651-2903.
If you have Medicare Part A and Part B or any Medicare Advantage plan, new benefits may now be available to you with no copays, no deductibles, or $0 premiums. Call now to speak to a licensed insurance agent who can help guide you step by step through a free quote. Or go to MedicareAdvantage.com to use the plan comparison tool and find plans from nationally recognized insurance companies. With Medicare Advantage, there may be plans that cover vision, dental, prescriptions, and more. And some plans have no copays and no deductibles. Some even have $0 monthly premiums. Don't believe it? Call now to find out for yourself and make sure you have the best plan for you. Plans may even be available with home delivery of your prescriptions, gym memberships, and even over-the-counter allowances for everyday needs like antacid, allergy medicine, vitamins, even toothpaste. MedicareAdvantage.com searches plans and benefit options